Hey everybody, I had to pull off the side of the road here to record this one because the weekly word this week is terrorism. And that is a very, very strong word, and a word that all of us are familiar with, especially since September 11th, 2001. And this Sunday, we are going to remember those that lost their lives on September 11th, 2001, at the 15th anniversary of the attack against our country. And I picked terrorism because sometimes we don't really understand what that word truly means. And I don't want to insult anybody, but terrorism is an attack against ideology, attack against religion, attack against politics in order to instill fear. Terrorism is done to try to convince you of not doing those things in a free manner that you so rightfully deserve to do. Here in America, we don't live our days in fear. We should not live our days in fear. And any day that you find yourself in fear, terrorism is winning. So as you go into this weekend and you hear a lot of news media and you hear a lot of the NFL on Sunday remembering those that have gone before, and you hear people talking about the 9/11 memorial, and you hear about remembering that day, what I want you to put in the forefront of your mind are two things, please. Number one, those 3,000 people that lost their lives in the Pentagon, in the World Trade Centers north and south, and in that small field in Pennsylvania. That's number one. Number two is all of those people that have lost their lives fighting for our freedom against terrorism since that day. And remember that you have a way to help this fight, and that is to not allow yourself to become fearful of those terror efforts, but to live your lives in a free manner. I'm not saying to be I'm not saying to be in a position where you allow yourselves to be not paying attention to good news that comes in and warnings that come in. You have to pay attention to that stuff. Vigilant is the word. But I want you to live your lives not in fear, please. For too many people have died to give us these freedoms to live our lives not in fear. I ask you to consider doing something to ensure that the terrorists don't win. And that something can be as easy as not allowing them to control your minds, not allowing them to control your feelings, by not being scared and by living your life freely. Of course, we're likely to find ourselves in another terror situation here in the United States. And I want you to think about those people that were on that flight that landed in Pennsylvania, who after telling their loved ones that the plane had been taken over, they decided through encouragement that they were not going to just sit idle. Instead, they said, let's roll. And they attacked that cockpit. And as a result, the plane crashed. But those people on that plane who took action prevented that plane from making its way to its likely intended target in Washington, D.C. At the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, we all want to live our lives, and we want to live our lives in a safe manner. And we can do that by attacking those who attempt to attack our ideologies head on, by not letting them win the victory that is controlling or instilling fear. I hope you enjoy this weekly word. It is way different than anything I've ever done before. I just want you all to be considering those things as we go into this 15th anniversary since 9/11 happened. So many things have changed our country, and it has formed a step-off point in our generation. So let's not forget all of those that have gone before us and continue to fight, including ourselves, against anybody's effort to instill fear in our minds. Have a great weekend.